Dun 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 dun. 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 Copyright strike. All right. Welcome to Immediate Review. We're brought to you by our number one fan, John Boko Show, who I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, he asked for this review in multiple comments.
It. We didn't want to see it. We're doing it for you, man.
All right. Don't say we never did anything for the fans.
Let's go over our knowledge of Terminator. Peter, go.
I know the first three fairly well. Like I really love the first and the second one. The third one I honestly enjoyed. It was I watched it with my dad before he passed away. So like I have memories of watching that one and enjoying it. And I really liked that it was building into like the it ends with like it happening. Like I did enjoy that part. But it definitely wasn't, it didn't hold up, and I haven't seen any other ones. I think I maybe saw a little bit of Salvation, but I didn't see Genesis, and I think there's another one that I don't even know.
That was this one.
Yeah. And yeah, so.
Alright, so yeah, I love the first two Terminators. Well, I really like the first one, but I love the second one. First one's like an awesome sci-fi horror, and it's really unique because Arnold's the villain. And then, Arnold became a big superstar, and so for the second one, they incorporated his heroism into the film brilliantly by having like Sarah Connor not trust him, and oh my god, they so pathetically try to do it. Everyone just hates each other in Terminator Dark Fate for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, it was just a good dynamic. T2 is amazing, the effects are great, everything about it is just fucking great. It's a classic. And yeah, I liked Rise of the Machines as well. Haven't seen it since I was like 14. But like, even when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is definitely not near as good as the first two, but it's like fine. I probably wouldn't like it as much now. But I remember just being like, okay, solid. I would watch more Terminator movies. And then Salvation, saw it in theaters. I liked it, have never watched it again. Genesis, I actually went to Blockbuster last night and rented it. Wrong side. Yeah.
And that's the legit Blockbuster. We live in
the Bend town. And yeah, James Cameron said I was going to love this movie. Can't really... It's right there. You're going to love this movie. James Cameron. He lied. Okay? This one sucked, and so did Dark Fate suck. So that's how much we know about Terminator. Alright, so before we trash the shit out of this movie, because it was horrible, I just want to get what couple positives I have out of the way. It's actually kind of just one. I thought the cast was solid, truthfully. Like, they were given the shittiest script of all time. And
that's true.
I thought all three of our lead actresses did a damn good job, especially Sarah Connor, what's her name? Linda Hamilton and Mackenzie Davis. Other girl, don't know her name. She was like half and half. Sometimes she brought the emotion, had some tear scenes, and like did stuff that's really hard to do. Other times she was just laughably horrible, delivering awful exposition. But like, I was genuinely surprised in Linda Hamilton. I thought she looked like horrible in the trailer in terms of just like acting and stuff. And yeah, I was actually like, oh, she's actually fairly good. And I already like Mackenzie Davis a lot. I enjoyed her. She had some funny ass shit to say in this movie, honestly, and it killed me. Yeah, that's really my only positive. I just think they did the best what they were given, and they kind of brought it, but not really. Yeah, that's it. You got any positives?
I mean, like, there's not an individual thing that I would say, like, yeah, everything about that's good. It's kind of has, like, an intermixing of, like, good stuff in with the bad stuff.
I know exactly what you mean, dude. Everything is, like, good, bad.
Yeah, it's like,
everywhere.
It's like they'll have these, like, super cool, like, I don't know, like Michael Bay-esque, like, action scenes with, like, explosions and stuff and all that, and it's cool. And then they'll just have that blend, these like action sequences blended together with like just awful CGI.
The CGI is horrendous.
It takes you out of the action completely. Like there were times where like people's legs like look like Jello as they're like flying across the fucking
Dude, the
screen.
physics were just like, I mean, I know it's dumb to complain about physics in these type of movies, but like things need to kind of seem like they move like how they would move, even if they're not real things.
Yeah.
And this did not do it. Oh my
exactly.
god.
And yeah, the it's so it's like trying to like do the whole reboot thing, you know. Like if anybody got a chance to watch Jay and Silent Bob reboot, that's how you do a reboot right. And this one basically just does all of the sins essentially that is made fun of in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Like it's doing everything basically the same as the originals with just a little bit changed so that you'll buy the shit and be totally fine with paying money for it again.
Not us though.
Yeah, we're Regal Unlimited, so we just get to go see the shit for basically free. And yeah, it's just like I feel like everything that was done in this movie had been done before. It was all done
especially
incredibly,
in Terminator movies.
Yeah, it was all incredibly similar. It basically had the same fucking storyline as the first two, you know. And to tell you the truth, I don't really know what the difference, like for one, this version of the Terminator that's our villain is not a very iconic version. Like the first one,
This is his first appearance.
Yeah.
And he's way too overpowered.
yeah,
Like I thought before, I always thought that was a big criticism. Sorry, side tangent of T2 is that the villain was way overpowered. I look back on that now and I'm like, no, he had limits to his powers, but this
Yeah.
dude is just like can connect to the internet, can spy on you, can like clone himself, can morph into other shit, just like.
well, and just thinking of like the character in general. Like the first one is Arnold Schwarzenegger, like literally inspired an entire franchise is in this newest one, you know, as essentially the same kind of character.
His name's
you
Carl
know?
now.
Yeah. And the next one, the T-1000, is like iconic as fuck. It was in Wayne's World. It's fucking like, you know. And this one,
I even think I don't remember the number from Rise of the Machines is like
Yeah, me
memorable
either.
too.
and
Like,
that one was incredibly similar to T-1000 as well.
no,
Like,
it was.
It
yeah.
really hasn't augmented. This one is pretty much exactly the same, except instead of its chrome-esque like look, it has like a Venom type like gripping vine.
It did have like an oily Venom.
Yeah.
look. It is
And it can-
significantly more
cre-
powerful though.
and it can create a clone of itself. That's like the
Yeah.
main differences right there.
Well,
and just strength in general.
The other one also didn't have the spy technology that this one has.
Yeah.
Like the other guy had to go around carrying a photo asking if anyone's seen this guy before.
Right. And that one comes from the third one. And yeah, man, you mentioned you liked Hamilton's acting, man. I did not, like, especially with the writing that was given. I thought that her character was incredibly one-dimensional.
The
and-
character wasn't good, and I didn't think she was like knocking it out of the park and like fucking bringing, making me want to see more movies and stuff. But it just like it wasn't cringe for me. It was just like the trailer was cringe.
I mean, it wasn't cringy. I'll give you that. But
it was
like,
just-
I didn't enjoy
She's not as good as she is in the original. I mean, they showed her Oscar reel at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. And yeah, I enjoyed this more than Motherless Brooklyn. So like I at least like
Honestly,
I didn't want to leave in the middle of the movie watching this.
Dude, I did too. I thought about it and I was like, yeah, this is still better than Motherless Brooklyn, honestly.
Like at least the action was fun. Like it had its action, it did its moments. I didn't really get the whole point of like the augment character because like, literally she has to like inject some weird
It was a video game.
unknown mixture of drugs into her body in order to survive.
I literally pictured like a little health bar that as you fight degrades and then has to reload.
Yeah.
And that's basically her. She's like, I can only do short bursts of energy. Then I gotta you gotta do the mission to get me to recharge.
Yeah, it's like,
And that's not what I mean when I say I liked her. I like, yeah, everything on paper is shit. I just like, these are real people doing these things. And for what they did, I can tell that they're trying and, giving a shit. And, yeah, I don't know, but it's still really bad.
yeah, I definitely didn't enjoy watching it, but like I said, it's fun. It is like if you.
Oh, I didn't think it was fun at all.
I mean, like the action, like it's got action. Like it'll keep you there. The action scenes flow from one to the other.
Yeah.
It's just like how the plot really is laid out is what I had the biggest problem with. Like, especially when we talked about this in the theater. But the theater was pretty damn empty. If you checked our Twitter, like we took a picture of the theater before we went up and sat. But yeah, there was not a lot of people there, and we had discussed that like the shooting scene when they like teach her how to shoot. Like they're building up plot that. Like, yeah, she has to, like, learn how to shoot, and they're going to do, like, this montage, and then, Sarah Connor's just like, let's get serious with this, and then it's just like, Terminator just killed your family. What do you do? And then her aim just goes up to 100%, and she's a fucking dead shot.
Oh, that was so dumb.
And like you pointed out in the theater, at the moment when she was shooting before, she had just lost her family to a fucking Terminator and would already be in the mindset of like, I'm going to be shooting at a Terminator. Bang, bang. She didn't need Sarah Connor to be like, yeah, what are you going to, like, I'm going to make you relive this and put you in the mindset, and then you're going to be a cold, hard killer, because that's how easy it is to learn how to shoot guns.
Her lines were awful. She was so horribly written and had so many terrible one-liners, but like I don't know, I think I could just tell she was giving her all. I don't know, I have this weird like just eye for passion and telling if people give a shit, and Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton gave a shit.
I mean, yeah,
she shouldn't have given a shit, but she did give a shit.
Yeah, it's like she cared, but like how much does that give you in terms of like acting power?
Not
just
much.
Like I care so much. It's like you can be the fucking like worst, like the best actor in the world, and fucking like I don't know, man.
No, I know exactly what you mean, man.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy her. I didn't really enjoy any of the acting, honestly. There was like, I don't know, like every character that like mattered didn't matter, and every character that didn't matter died. And
that did matter died?
No, that didn't matter.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just like, hey, we're random soldiers here in this fucking border patrol
A
facility.
lot of characters did not matter.
And like the whole like Mexico City thing, the boyfriend that the fucking she's like with at the beginning like dies at the fucking very first action scene and is not mentioned or reminisced about at all the rest of the movie.
I laughed so hard when they're just like, we gotta go, and then a truck just fucking takes them out. It's like, see? Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
like, bye, dude. Pointless fucking character.
Oh my.
Okay, let's talk about the border patrol scene, because there is some heavy anti-Trump administration detaining Mexicans at the border,
And like, I appreciate that, but it's done terribly.
It's done so bad,
horribly.
Like, I'm not down with Trump, whatever, but yeah, this was like just, I don't know, heavy-handed.
The worst shot is when she walks by and like lifts up the cage and like frees everyone and is like, let my people go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's especially just
Yeah, and I don't know, there was like, I don't know, the helicopter scene was fucking, I mean, what the, yeah.
oh yeah, when
Steals
Arnold
the
just like, when the
helicopter.
helicopter's coming and when it's far away, Arnold just points and starts shooting randomly.
Yeah.
Carl, sorry.
And yeah, it's just like, I don't know, they do eventually make it to the kill box that they talk about, but I don't know, they talk about like, yeah, we need to make it to the kill box, and then they end up going to some fucking factory, and then they leave there and get on a cargo plane and shit, and oh my god, it's just like, I don't know, like they create the kill box like a few times and then just end up running because the fucking thing is too strong. Man.
This is I'm looking at the writing credits right now. It's written by like 5 50-year-old bald white dudes who are just like looking at what's trending on social media and throwing it in their movie. Like, it's a cynical ass fucking cash grab. And it's not that the things they're trying to do or the themes they're doing are bad. It's just that they're just rich assholes who don't understand them and are just cheaply using them to peddle their fucking franchise and make money. And nobody wins.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Actually, you know what? We won because they fucking lost a bunch of money on this movie.
Yeah, I mean, so...
But yeah, Billy Ray, Justin Rhodes, David S. Goyer, Charles H. Eagley, Josh Friedman, and James Cameron. Yeah, it's like, I'm not exaggerating. And directed by Tim Miller, who did Deadpool. Come on, man. Oh.
Yeah, they've been getting themselves into a bunch of different stuff, doing all sorts of things like that. But man, like, I don't know. This one just like hurt to watch.
It did,
and it's funny too because that's what John Boko show said was going to happen. He said, "Prepare for the pain."
It was painful. I honestly disagree about the action scenes being fun. I was honestly most entertained by just laughing at the stupidity of the script structure.
The slow-mo
6 people trying to juggle a script.
Yeah, the slow-mo shots in the action scenes
I
were
did like those.
Like, some of them were fucking really bad though, dude.
The first 2 though, when what was Mackenzie Davis's character called? I can always remember the actors, but I can never remember their fucking names.
John Connor.
No, I don't know. But when she first appeared, there was that fight scene where it was like a slow-mo of the dude going for his gun, and it was like her in the Terminator vision, like clocking all the shit. Like, I liked that, and I was like, oh shit, are these action scenes gonna be good?
Okay, yeah, that shit at the very beginning when it was like her checking out all the guns and like the slow-mo, yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And they only did it that fucking time, and they didn't have more of that happen. Like, I don't know. Like, I think the first Sherlock Holmes is a good example of that. Like, when he's in the fighting ring and he's, like, analyzing everything and whatnot. Having more scenes done like that. Like, not with the whole, like, you know, he's going to do this, clap his ears, I'm British, and just throw a punch right in his liver there, and then we'll smack him with a pint. But, like, having something along the lines of that, of, like, analyzing and predicting muscle movements through, like, not communicative, you know, just like imagery, beep, 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 and then just have the reaction happen. I think that more of that would have been really cool, but they didn't really do that. The first scene, though, that is action that happens, like, at the warehouse and whatnot when we first encounter our Terminator, I did really like that scene, like, when it's super amped up and going, and then, like, before she crashes, like, I enjoyed that.
Oh,
it was cool. But even I mentioned while it was building up to that and they were both going to the factory, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is going on?
We just did not understand the motivation behind any.
Yeah, there was, like, no indication that, like, who the target was or anything. It was just there was 3 parties all going to the same place, and they end up getting there, and then the plot just kind of gets explained to you through a very quick exposition scene before they decide to get into a car to continue running. Like, the exposition was so fucking bad in this.
So Sarah Connor's comeback. All right, so they retcon Edward Furlong was killed by another Terminator who was also sent back to stop, which actually kind of makes sense. That logic does check out, that they'd send back a Terminator and it's like, oh, they failed, send another. Like, it seems contrived, but it kind of does make sense, like, if this was happening. And so that Terminator killed Edward Furlong, unfortunately. But
it was already after that future had already stopped existing, essentially.
Oh, you're right. So that does not make any fucking sense. Never mind.
It does, depending on the nature of time. So it's like it depends on how time is supposed to work in the universe. If it's done like back to
what the fuck? We got new Green Day? Damn, I'm gonna have to look that up later. Sorry, continue.
If it's done in the sense of like this, it's basically, you know, kind of like Endgame, you know, where when you go back in time.
Wait, what?
It's
Endgame?
Yeah, like
I haven't heard of that.
Endgame?
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame?
Avengers.
Dude, shut up. Fucking, it works like that, where like time doesn't change. Like just because they went back in time and changed it, that changed an arc of time into a different direction, and the timeline that they were still on, that was sending Terminators back, was still existing, and they sent somebody back, killed John Connor, and essentially their timeline, they win. But our timeline is arcing in a different direction, in which the Legion is created, and they're now sending people back because for some reason they can't seem to kill the leader of this militia army against Legion, even though they have the most powerful robots that apparently you can only run away from, and they can't seem to kill her in the future when they have the most resources and power. And yeah, but that's not a plot hole. Okay. No way.
No,
That's
that's
just
a
me.
time hole.
Yep, I'm being nitpicky and biased. Haha, bye.
Oh man. So Sarah Connor, yeah. So after that, her goal, she's just prejudiced against all T-101 and probably T-800 units. She hates them. If they look like Arnold, you kill them. And yeah, that's what she devotes her life to. And she looks for other Terminators and gets tweets from Arnold.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing.
From Carl.
It turns out that her like mission in life was actually given to her by the robot that killed her kid.
Oh no!
What a twist! And he was actually looking out for her and making sure that she didn't go psycho the whole time by making sure that her psycho was directed at killer robots.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
no, and like at the end, I would have felt so satisfied if she like had some sense of like smug, like, yeah, I'm glad, like, because seriously, it's like, you know, like let's say he wasn't a Terminator. Let's say he's a regular person. Should stop doing that,
dude. Okay,
he did it the whole goddamn movie.
Okay, during the movie, every time a character, especially Sarah Connor, said the word Terminator, I just went in my seat.
So yeah, I would have been glad if Sarah Connor was like happy that he died. You know what I mean? Like I hated the whole, like, you know, what I was going on, the tangent I was about to go on was like, let's imagine that there's like a murderer. All right, he kills your kid. Okay, now he disappears. He's gone. You don't get your revenge. He doesn't get taken down by the law.
You've been like carrying out your revenge on other things to fill that void.
This entire fucking time for 20 goddamn years.
Yeah.
Okay, and he shows back up and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have a family
I'm
now.
better now.
And even though I killed your kid, I have a kid now, and I understand what I took from you. So." Okay, it's like, no, I personally would not fucking forgive him, regardless of the amount of help that I needed from him. And at the end, with him dying with the enemy that we have been fucking fighting against, I would have satisfaction in that.
I demand satisfaction.
Yeah, like he took something from her and he gave his life in order to repay that. That's worthy. Fucking, you know, it's a clean slate.
Clean slate.
Clean slate. And yeah, they didn't do that. It was like, you know, she's like, oh, by the end when he dies, it's like, aw,
it's cool. It's cool.
I'm cool with him now.
I didn't really know my son that well, anyways.
I mean, he was only like 7 or 8 years old. So.
I was at an institution most of the time.
It's true. It is fucking true. Like, oh my god. This franchise is such a shit show.
It
man.
is,
It really
dude.
is.
It
dude.
is. No, so when I went to Blockbuster last night, I'm fucking looking for Terminator Genesis. I slap it down on the counter, and he's like, all right, 99 cents, and fucking
much.
he asked me. He was just like, oh, yeah, having a good day? And I was like, yeah, I won't be after I watch this, though. And he's like, yeah, I was wondering. He's like, you gonna go see the new one? I was just like, yeah, I gotta now. Yeah, he was like, yeah, didn't watch that one, not gonna watch the new one. It's just like, nobody cares about fucking rehashing this plot. Like, the plot of the original Terminator, the whole go back in time to save the future is great.
The first time it was done,
The second one rehashed it, and it was great. And then it was like, stop doing it. And then the third one, they kind of rehashed it, but the ending was, it had a downer ending. That's what makes the third one unique, is the first two have happy endings. The third one's like, you failed, bitch. Judgment Day is still coming, which makes it still a little unique. And then Salvation is like, oh, it actually takes place during all this shit. And we're looking at these Salvation's still the best
I haven't seen it.
sequel, I think. I've only seen it once, only saw it when it came out, but my money is on that Salvation, aside from T2, is the best sequel.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like, I just want to say, like, we wouldn't have gone on to see this if it wasn't for John Boco's show.
No,
like,
not at all.
He
Oh,
he's like, I'm not coming back until after goes so
my girlfriend doesn't want to see this at all. She is just like, she hates James Cameron's cynical wannabe feminism. Like,
yeah.
she is just like, she pointed out, she was like, yeah, he's just doing this because he fucking got pissed off about Wonder Woman. And I totally forgot when he did his whole thing about how he didn't like Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman's hot and any girl he's attracted to can't be a badass. And yeah, so he immediately started producing a franchise he hasn't given a fuck about in years.
Yeah, still waiting for the Avatar stuff. I've been waiting for an Avatar sequel for a while. I like the first one.
Oh, okay, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, we're usually on the same page, man. We're on the opposites of that.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. That's what's cool about us.
Yeah.
We don't care. It's
Yeah,
just like,
so
whatever.
when we see Avatar in theaters, we'll get to have a fucking
Dude,
movie fight.
I'm gonna be the evil fucking military that wants to take your goddamn greenery.
Yeah,
and
and
you could be this.
I'll be the crippled military man who likes to fuck aliens in my dreams. Yeah.
No, I'm seriously not looking forward to any of those Avatar movies at all, though, man. I don't
What the
like
fuck's
Avatar.
the plot gonna be, man? I feel like because the first one was good, I liked it. I feel like that, but like that was the plot. It's like military is digging up shit.
No.
Aliens are here. Like it is what it is,
No.
and like the sequels are just gonna be like that happening elsewhere.
Nobody wants a god. Okay, maybe we'll get into that later, but let's go through the list if there's any other things.
Okay.
Fucking
Directing. I thought it was honestly just discombobulated.
the guy who directed Deadpool directed this.
And I feel like it was more the writing because it was written by like 5
No,
different people.
the writers were the biggest fucking criminals of this movie.
It's like a director can only do so much with a script that's written by 5 people who probably
And an
haven't
actor
sat in the
can
same room.
only do so much with this shitty ass script with lines they're contractually obligated to say.
So yeah, they definitely there's definitely some sins there in the writers' room.
A lot.
And yeah, and James Cameron's guilty because he's credited. You know,
He's
it's
well,
like-
yeah, he's a story guy, but I'm sure it is his fault. It's true.
I mean, the
Killed
story-
it with Alita, at least. You're
yeah,
1 for 2 this year.
Exactly. And you could tell, like, one he cared about a lot and invested a ton of time in. The other one is just like, oh, just fucking throw it together, whatever. And yeah, you can tell based on. I mean, we didn't get a chance to review Alita because we weren't doing a media review then. But yeah, odds are that one will make an appearance in our top 10 this year.
Oh yeah. I don't think Terminator Dark Fate will make it into my top worst though. I don't.
I don't think it will either.
It'll be
It might be
on the outskirts, but I'm thinking about my list.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, it's an honorable mention for
dishonorable mention.
Yeah, dishonorable mention for top 10 worst, but I don't think it'll make my top 10.
Yeah.
Acting, I mean,
We've talked about it.
I liked him. Yeah, cinematography, serviceable at times, pleasant at other times.
CG was used when it wasn't good, and it just looks bad. So I'm gonna say below average for me.
For cinematography.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Just because they had the way they had to use CG in order to blend different actions, shots together.
The camera motions were good though overall. I like where the shots went. There was one I really liked where it was like a Terminator's like coming at him, and then like she like hits him in the head, and then as his head bends, the camera like followed it. Like there were a few clever little shots like that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty like standard for an action movie.
It was standard. It was. Yeah, the CGI, man. We haven't gone into we did, I guess, but it is really bad. I just got to reiterate that again. Awful.
Yeah, CG's bad, but they did do practical explosions that did look very, very good and were shot well. I will say that.
Yep.
I did like the like cars hitting shit, fucking gun stuff, explosions, rocket launchers. They did good.
I wasn't appreciating that enough in the moment, but you're absolutely right. There were.
I will say, not on the level of Mad Max in terms of practical effects.
What is?
But and Fury Road, of course, not some of the earlier ones.
What? Don't talk shit. All those early ones are fucking just as hardcore.
Well, I haven't seen those, so I can't give my opinion on
Well, what the hell, man?
I'm
Man. The car. Okay, not Beyond Thunderdome, but the first two Mad Max, those stunts are just as impressive and dangerous.
So that was special effects, sound design. I mean, it was there.
Sounded like bullets to me.
Yeah, it's like, it was pretty simple to, level everything out. It does take time to do sound design stuff, but it didn't do anything that like blew you away. That was like it's not trying to change the industry of sound design.
The one time was when she, I don't know what kind of gun it was, but when Sarah Connor first showed up, the shots of that gun that we're firing,
like full auto shotgun,
that sounded pretty fucking sick, honestly.
Yeah.
We were laughing though. How the fuck did she get those guns across the border?
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess she was just in Mexico, and like Schwarzenegger's just sending her texts.
Oh, she must have just had a bunch of money and bought them in Mexico.
Yeah, just like she was just there in Mexico. That's what I got from it, anyways, because she appears in Mexico City when they're leaving.
In Mexico City, yeah. I could not stop thinking that the whole time. It's like, thank you very much, my friends.
All right, music, lots of orchestra swells, heavy bass.
They did the dun 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 dun.
I mean, yeah, they did that.
A lot.
Yep.
Editing, meh.
It's average. It was edited. I mean, there was a few times where you mentioned like that was an awkward cut and things like that, and there's some stuff that was more jarring than others. Other times it just, it just was cut together. They took their shots. They didn't do anything revolutionary with it. It's pretty standard for editing.
It's true. Set design, okay.
Yeah, I don't honestly think there was much set design. I feel like they just picked spots and just filmed there. I don't think there was a whole lot of meticulous this needs to be here, this needs to be here.
They didn't do enough. Like, these Terminator movies need to be in the apocalyptic time, and they didn't do enough with that or make it interesting enough.
And that's the thing. Like, they have this whole buildup of like Legion, and they have no indication of like what is Legion. Where's it coming
You're
from?
right. It is just like,
it's just like we built them. They're coming.
They're coming for you. Now in Genesis, it's like a smart home thing. It's like an app and it's social media, and it's like this social media site will launch, and then the site launched, and that was Judgment Day.
Countdown.
Genesis.
2.0.
Honestly, Genesis is worse than this. Last night I was like, it was awful. If I got to do other things. If I had to see Genesis in theaters, holy fuck. Like, it was, I don't know, dark.
Luckily, we weren't contractually obligated back when that came out.
Yeah, but, you know, we're doing it for the fans. You got requests, send us your requests, we'll review it.
Yep. If it's in theaters, we're not gonna, like, fucking watch some shitty VHS copy on a TV and review that.
I mean,
maybe.
I will.
He will. I've got standards.
Costumes sucked. Yeah, hi-fi. Okay, so just real quick, are we gonna see it? 1917. We gonna see it?
Yes.
Ford v Ferrari. We gonna see it?
Yes.
Don't want to see it, but we gonna.
We got to see it. It's got Batman and Matt Damon.
Batman Damon.
Yeah, it's Batman versus Jason Bourne.
Batman v Jason Bourne.
Batman v Jason Bourne. Okay.
Doctor Sleep. We gonna see it in 2 days.
Yeah, we'll watch.
We're gonna buy our tickets once we're done.
Fucking Doctor Sleep.
Stupid fucking remake. Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. I mean, we'll probably watch it.
No, we're gonna see it. I'm gonna blast
Blumhouse,
this one. I'm gonna fucking tear it apart.
Okay. Rhythm section. Yes.
This is the one I'm most excited for out of all of these movies. Like a Boss. We should go see it.
I'd say this is my second favorite.
Yeah.
For this rhythm section number 1, then Like a Boss.
We haven't seen a comedy yet, a new comedy since we've been doing this immediate review thing.
I wanted to go see Jexy, but just there were other movies and stuff coming out. I don't even know if it's still in theaters yet.
It's not. It was in theaters for like a week.
Yeah, it was not. I don't know what it was. It was like some weird Adam Devine has sex with a phone app or something.
1 minute of battery. Peace the fuck out. Thanks again, John Boko Show, for watching and requesting this shit.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. We're on Twitter.
Woo! Woo!